Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to convert your Apple Log2 footage shot on iPhone out of log and into Rec 709 more quickly and easily to give you a much better base grade and starting point for your color process. And it's all going to be done with a free LUT that I've created and engineered specifically for the Apple Log2 color profile, and I've made available for free download for anyone. If you want to access it right now, the link is in the video description for this video, but I'll show you right now why I created it. And I heard so many times over and over from filmmakers that they weren't able to find any sort of Apple Log2 conversion LUT that would give them strong, consistent results across multiple different shots. And I decided to build one myself to solve that issue. And then, like I said, put it out there so everyone could access it and hopefully speed up their color process. It's worth noting that at the moment, if you're in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro or a lot of other software programs, you're not going to find any Apple Log2 LUT bundled with the software. However, in the new version of Final Cut Pro, you will find an Apple Log2 LUT that's baked in right here in the inspector under the camera LUT setting. So if you apply that, you can see right off the bat, it's really oversaturating this image. It's increasing the contrast in a way that's fairly natural, but it's pretty heavy-handed and overall not an optimal starting point for our base grade. So what I'm going to do is I'll pull that off for a second, and now I'm going to introduce the Cinecolor Apple Log2 B LUT. There's actually three variations of this LUT, A, B, and C. B is a really good middle of the road option for shots like this. And you can see once it's applied, this color palette is looking a lot more neutral, and it's a much better starting point for our grade. This isn't meant to be a final look, but it's meant to make our lives easier so we can now build adjustments on top of a really strong base grade, as opposed to starting with something that's oversaturated and overcolored that we now have to pull away from before we can make any secondary adjustments. So in this case, if I were to color this shot, all I would do is adjust our exposure a little bit. I'm just going to pull the shadows down a tiny bit so they're sitting right at 0, and I'm going to pull the highlights up as well. This LUT intentionally holds the highlight levels a little bit lower to ensure that you're preserving as much of that highlight detail as possible and you're not artificially clipping anything when you first apply the LUT. Next, I'm just going to bump up our saturation very slightly just in the midtones and highlights. And finally, on the color tab here, I'm going to take our shadows and I'm going to push a little bit of blue into them just to introduce some more color separation. Now I'll go to full screen, and you can see this is a really great starting point that we can build our grade from. It's not our final look, but it has a natural amount of contrast, saturation, the levels are sitting exactly where they should be, and most of all, it's not over stylized like we were seeing before with the native built-in Apple LUT. So if you're interested in the free LUT, like I said, the link is here in the video description. Also, big shout out to my friend Josh Pavchek, who allowed me to use this footage for the demo. He's actually shooting an entire movie right now in Apple Log2 on the iPhone, which we'll be coloring here through Cinecolor. So I'm going to link to that film as well if you guys want to follow along. Otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe to the Cinecolor YouTube channel and stay tuned for lots more like this.